So my buddy Dongsu Park over at Zeotac, he emails me every once in a while going, yeah, we've got more cheap Korean monitors, just like that last time we sent you a cheap Korean monitor. And a lot of the time I'm like, that doesn't really look that amazing, you guys. Not that impressed. Oh, not this time. I have not been able to find anything online that is comparable to the cheap Korean monitor deal that I have for you guys today. This is the Crossover Fast 144. It is a 2560 by 1440 IPS panel, 144 hertz display that I will get out of the box eventually for $299 US. Okay, so first things first, let's have a look at what kind of goods we get for our $299 US. We get a lot of bubble wrap, wow, okay. We get a remote, that's weird. We get a power cable, we get, I love this. Apparently, it is easier / cheaper for them to do this way. They just send you an Asian power cord, and then they send you an adapter so that you can adapt it to your North American plug. Not the most elegant solution ever, but hey, it gets the job done. We also get a DisplayPort cable. We get a closer look at that remote that I alluded to before. It's got kind of like a little winky, like Napster guy on there. And then we get our own tool and screws to presumably assemble this thing. And assemble we shall. This comes in more pieces than your typical monitor stands. I like the construction though. You hear that? It's a train. It's the game train. It's coming into the station. Okay, I'm done. So the way you orient this bad boy is you kind of look at the marks and the angles and you kind of align the thing and then it kind of goes on a little something like that. 10 out of 10 instructions. Dick not stuck inside the monitor stand. This feels like kind of a stupid thing to do, but I'm actually going to set up the monitor in front of the 65-inch OLED TV from LG that I've got going on here. And the reason being is that that's really not actually that great for gaming, so it's nice to have other options. First, we got to get the stand on here, though. This also, well built. I will give them credit for that, but not especially outstanding in terms of like height adjustment or anything. So you're definitely giving up something for your $299, 144 hertz FreeSync IPS display, and that is the robustness of the stand. To their credit, though, at least they've got a vase mount. That one really drives me crazy. When you got a cheap stand and they didn't build in the necessary internal reinforcements for a third-party mount. I'm stripping this. You guys want to see me strip on camera? And of course it doesn't slip anymore. Perfect. Now I've cranked that so tight. All right. So, there it is. Pretty bare bones, if you ask me. But can it make up for it with the gaming experience? To find out, we are going to be using something really, really special. Now, I'm not a televangelist, so I'm not going to give you guys a whole thing about planting a seed of $1 and someday it will return to you a 10,000x. But that is what happened today. So I first met Charles about 10 years ago. What's the safest way to take this out of here? I won't be able to pull it up. Can I try? Whoa, that's a heavy system. Feels like a, yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, this is weird. You're not making it better right now. So I first met Charles 10 years ago. This was back when I was building high-end systems, or at least what I thought were high-end systems. We're about to see that redefined. When I was building high-end systems back at NCIX, and I had noticed him originally because he had all these really expensive invoices, like $6,000, like regularly. I'm like, dude, what are you doing with all this stuff? Turns out he was building some really special systems. Also, we had something in common right off the bat. Our favorite case, the Silverstone TJ07. Anyway, the first time I met him in person, he was in desperate need of a really special set of fittings for a thermochill radiator, some British standard plug that was very uncommon, even for water cooling crap 10 years ago. And I actually didn't want to get rid of them because they were fairly unusual. They were like, even finding nickel-plated thermochill fittings back then was really tough. These were really nice ones. They had ribs all the way down, so they sealed really nicely. And I was like, I only have one set of these. You know what, Charles? Just for you. So since then, he's actually been, I mean, not full-time, but he's been hard at work on what he calls the X-Forma MBX2. This is a truly special case based on the original TJ07, and he brought this here for me, a special system that he hand-built himself in this chassis, absolutely one of a kind. And we're going to use this to power up our monitor. Okay, here we go. So some assembly required. You guys see that? Totally custom fan mounting. All aluminum, but I'm not going to like bang it together. This is not a train. Okay, this is a piece of art. We're going to do a full showcase of this thing down the line. For now, we're just going to be using it to, yes, I'm going to draw your attention. Stop. Back to the monitor. So it's got 4 HDMI ports. I didn't talk about that before. 1 display port, an audio pass-through, and a DC in jack. Let's go ahead and get this baby fired up. This is pretty cool, to put it mildly. Like, I feel like an idiot having a blue Ethernet cable now. Like, look at this. Now I have to fix everything. Thanks, Charles. This is not a gift, this is an obligation. Look, I said look at the monitor. This video isn't about that. We're going to do a video about that later. Stop. Okay. Oh, yeah, that looks good. That's just a little piece of gunk. Is this on? Can't tell. Hi. Wow, okay. Quick boot. Okay, I gotta say I'm glad it comes with a remote, though it doesn't come with batteries, so I'm gonna have to go find some, because this buttons on the back of the monitor thing is basically unusable. I'm just trying to adjust the brightness. Color effect, temperature, gamma, ultra vivid. What is this? Where's just brightness? Look at this. Hey, you're supposed to be looking at the monitor, not the computer. We've been through this. Oh, and I've lost it. Bella. Okay, like what is this? What is Ormation set? Apparently it's what I need, because that's where brightness is. And we are back. This is actually really impressive. Like, this is right up there with some of the lowest motion blur that I've seen on an IPS. That and this machine and this monitor are a match made in heaven. This thing's actually running at over 100 frames per second at 2560 by 1440. So if I lose, it's only because of me. There's no excuses for anything at this point. Like here, you can actually maybe even see it a little bit here. Just how there's no motion blur, there's no streaking behind that. I am really impressed with this thing, especially for the price. Like, it won't make me good at Counter-Strike, that's for sure, but... Ah! still reloading. I got 2 guns here. Come on, it's not fair. Bow, 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 bow. You're dead. Like, this gaming experience has been available for a while, but now the difference is that it's cheap. And like, to be clear, $300 is still a lot of money, but in the context of what we would have paid for this kind of an experience before, it's pretty affordable. The only comparable things I could find was a 144 hertz 1440p $300 monitor on mono price, but that was a TN panel. And then for an IPS with those specs, you were paying quite a bit more. So to be clear, not everything about this thing is perfect. This menu can die in a fire. Right, I'm just turning up the brightness a little bit because this game's kind of dark. Yeah, that looks fine now. But it's got a lot going for it. I am super impressed for 300 bucks, and yeah, you can check that out at the link in the video description. While you're at it, if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about this beast before we do our follow-up video, the case itself is actually for sale on Mod 1, so we'll have a link to that in the description as well.